Hi guys, welcome to Homeschooling on Mama's Bed. My name is Gwinnell, and if you are new here, welcome in. I'm homeschooling my 7-year-old son, second grade, and then my 4-year-old daughter, pre-K. I'm so excited, guys, to have my mom back with us. Earlier in the year, we did a video on the science curriculum that she is teaching my son, and now we're going to go over one of the 4 social studies units that she is also teaching my son. So we are going to go over the character traits unit that she is teaching. So without further ado, I'm going to turn the time over to you, Mom.
All right. My name's Michelle, if you missed it the first time. I originally wrote this character traits unit for my oldest daughter, Nicole. At her request, she was going to teach her son in kindergarten, which is next year for him. So I took the summer and I wrote this unit. First of all, I researched to see if I could find something out there already that I didn't have to write the whole unit. And I found a unit talking about honesty, another one talking about courage, another one talking about responsibility. Nothing had everything in it, and nothing taught it the way I wanted it taught. So I started from scratch and I wrote my own. And I came across 12 character traits that I wanted to cover. And so these are the ones I'm covering: kindness, empathy, gratitude, honesty, responsibility, courage, persistence, patience, self-control, respect, fairness, and cooperation. Now, this unit I finished and I put it on Teachers Pay Teachers under Grandma's Store and under Etsy under Grandma's Homeschool. The unit goes for $12, which, if you ask me, that's a bargain deal because there is so much stuff in here. It is just jam-packed. My grandson loved it. And actually, I loved teaching it. I was amazed at how great it was as I was teaching.
Agreed. I second that. I got to watch some of the teaching happen, and it was so well done. The books were amazing. My son loved the program.
Yep. So I taught him this program 3 days a week, and so it took us 5 weeks to complete it, which is a good length for this type of unit. In it, I included 14 lessons. So there's 12 lessons on the characters, and then there's an introduction lesson and a conclusion or summary lesson at the end. So in these 14 lessons, there's a book every single lesson. So 14 books, 8 videos, 12 posters giving definitions, 11 original songs. They all go to the tune Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, so you don't have to learn anything new. There's 9 short stories, 14 games and activities, 13 worksheets, and the character tree that you see modeled behind us with the leaves that we put on each time we learn about one of the character traits. I asked my grandson what his favorite part of the program was, and he said it was the books, which kind of surprised me. I thought the games, the activities, it was the books. There were 5 of them that I could not find at the library. And so I found them on YouTube as a read aloud. And I said, did you like it better when I read it to you or when you watched someone else read it to you on YouTube? And he said, both of them were good. I liked them both. I liked the books. So because I've taken them back to the library, I wanted to show you what some of the awesome books are that I found. So this set is by Alicia Ortega, and it's the superpowers books. Kindness and gratitude, patience, honesty are my superpowers. This is a really good book set. We really like this one. And she has more, but these covered the traits that I chose. And another series was by Sherry J. Miners, and these were really good too. And she also has more books than this, but they were good. And then just some other random books I found to go with each one of the units were these. And then these are the last 2 that we had. Swimmy is the very last one in the series. So now I'm going to go over the workbook that I put together for the unit. Now, I put everything together in one book because I don't like 4 or 5 different books. Yeah. There are, however, 5 sections in here. I don't know if you can see the tabs I have across the top, but there's 5 different sections. But I've put them all together so that the teacher's plans are at the beginning, and then you have the introduction posters, and I'll show you an example of each of these. So each section, I just keep flipping back to the teacher's plan. I let him read them, and then I flip back to the teacher's plan. If I were to change it, I would print a teacher's manual first that I kept, and then the other 4 sections I would just let my grandson have available all the time. But I don't mind, and it was the first time I did it. So let me get into the book and I'll show you what's available. Okay, let's take the lesson for honesty. First of all, you'll find an introduction in the bluish green This is what the parent reads to the child. Then I either have them read this if they can read, or I read it to them. And that gives the definition of honesty. Then we go into the book, Honesty, and I've given a QR code in case you can't find it in the library and you still want to use it. And then here's some discussion questions to go after the book. And then I wrote all these silly little songs to Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. Like I said, there's 11 songs. And so we'll turn to the section that has all the songs. And Gwenelle has volunteered to sing this for you.
I just want you to know I did not agree to this, but because I love my mom so much, I will sing with her.
Honest,
honest, yes I am. Telling truth is my big plan. Even when it's hard to do, I will always tell what's true. People trust me when I say what is real in every way.
The next thing we do for lesson 5 is we play a game, Truth or Made Up. And it gives the instructions here, and it shows the pictures of the things you need to print out on cardstock and make cards. And if you zoom over here, you'll see these are just 9 of the cards that are available. And I have either the child read this or I read it to them, and they have to ask, is this truth or is this made up? And so one time I spilled milk at lunch. I told the truth even when I was scared. A giraffe visited my classroom yesterday. I have a pet dragon that eats pancakes. So they have to tell which ones are made up and which is the truth. And then for many of them, I have written a little story, and this is the picture of what it is you need to flip to, and it gives discussion questions after you read the story. So let's flip to the story. This is what it looks like, and usually my grandson wanted me to read it to him, and then you ask the questions after you're done. And then we go to the character leaf for that lesson, Honesty, and I have him put it on the character tree. So this is the completed character tree, and they put up one every lesson. And there's always a prompt in the lesson for when it's time to put it on the character tree. Then we move to the worksheet, and this is again a picture of what the worksheet looks like. And let's flip to the back, and then we'll see the worksheet. So this is the Honesty worksheet. He colored really well on these. He decided he was not in a coloring mood there, and so he just crossed out the other ones. It says to color only the pictures that show honest choices. So he decided to cross out the ones that weren't honest. I just wanted to show a few of the really cute activities that I came up with. These are kindness crayons. Each of these crayons has a message on it. Hold door open, yell at a friend, call names, leave a mess, give a hug, help pick up. And they have to choose whether it's kindness or not kind. And then they put them in the little crayon box. These are some of the other ones that involve cards. There's other games and such included in activities, but you've got trait sorting, so you've got a list of things, and they have to tell if it's a character trait or not one. Here's some role playing, so you read them an example, and they have to tell what they would do in that situation. And the same with these. These just have pictures. And then we have the game Truth or Made Up that I just showed you. And there's a memory match game, another role play game, and then we end it with this memory match of all the different traits. And there's 2 of each card, and they've got to find them like that. So that's about it. Let me reiterate the places where you can find it if you're interested in teaching these 12 character traits to your children. You can find it on Teachers Pay Teachers under Grandma's Store, or on Etsy under Grandma's Homeschool. And it's $12 for the unit. And that's about it. I do want to say that my granddaughter came down when we were playing the final game, the memory match game, for the last lesson, and she insisted on playing with us.
She did.
So I gave her my turn, and she got to find matches. And so the next day she came down and says, "Can we play the game again?" We also played other games with her. There's times when you need more than one child sometimes to do activities, and so I'll call her down. And we played the freeze game the other day. I think we were learning patience, and so we played Chicken Banana song, and I kept stopping it and had to freeze. And so again today, can we play the freeze game? So even pre-K love this, and I'm sure that she'll be ready probably to learn it next year.
Yeah, honestly.
My grandson being in 2nd grade, that's about the oldest that I would go for this unit. After that, it gets a little bit too young for them. But so anywhere from pre-K to grade 2 would be perfect time to teach this. And I think you could even teach it in the later grades, an older version of it, to reiterate what they learned because they don't retain everything.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just want to reiterate how wonderful this unit is, not just because she's my mom, but just as a homeschooler, looking to find things to help teach my kids the character traits that I want to instill in them, the values that I think are important. I think every parent would find the values listed in this unit important to teach to their kids and want to instill those into them. So I hope you give this a try. I know that you will not be disappointed. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Mom, is there anything else you want to say?
That's it. Until next time.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Until next time, bye-bye, guys.
Bye.